Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Oracle Thoughts, Ep.6. Zine Williams, your host here. Got my boy Malcolm Stokes.
What's going on, y'all? I'm back in here.
Hey, man, how to get it back in here, bro? We have a lot of great stuff for you, a lot of great content on you. Just ready to, start the show and, give you some proper news, man.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Hey, man, it's only fair we start with the whole NFC, North. That whole division is it's going, a lot of inward direction in and out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of wild from, the Matt Stafford trade,
Right.
Are the Packers still interested in Aaron Rodgers?
Is he gonna host Jeopardy full time? We'll get into all that.
Exactly. The Vikings, they just seem like they're going to plateau with, Kirk Cousins and, yours truly, the Bears, AD, not AD, Andy Dalton, QB1, you know what I'm saying?
I think, obviously people know me about the Bears and everything, and when it comes to the Chicago Bears, we didn't pick Deshaun Watson. We all know that, and obviously
ever since.
we see what's going on with that now. We didn't pick Patrick Mahomes. That was another guy we didn't pick up. But we also overlook guys like Dak Prescott. We also overlook guys that have done well.
True.
I remember when Josh Allen was coming out, the year before he came out, we were linked to Josh Allen both years, and we didn't do it. So,
for real?
Yeah. When he was coming out of Wyoming.
Oh, wow. I did not know y'all were linked to them.
Yeah, so...
y'all was still linked to him after getting Mr. Trubisky? Because that was the year after.
So, this was one of the first years where they were going to try to do that Josh Rosen, usurp him after a year situation. Obviously they did it with Rosen and Kyler Murray, so I just think we're... by the time we get a quarterback, our defense may be no good. So I can see that happening. I don't know what to do. Russell Wilson begged to go there, and it didn't happen.
Bad. But I don't know how serious that actually was, though. I don't know how serious. Like, I think it was serious as far as, like, cool, we put that in the air and see what actually takes place. But I don't think he was so hell-bent on saying, I hate Seattle this much, I got to leave, I just can't do this. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you got to call them on their bluff. You got to see if they're serious. You got to see if, if they want to do this.
Fair.
If you can't get Russell Wilson,
fair.
You got teams out there you got the Raiders, they got two quarterbacks. That's better than what we got.
True.
So, if they're not coming off Derek Carr.
Marcus is definitely a better quarterback than Andy Dalton right now.
Yeah,
today in 2021.
Go give me Mariota. You know what I'm saying? If they love Mariota, let me see what Derek Carr's talking about. Right. Jimmy Garoppolo is from the Chicago area. San Francisco seems to hate him. So hey, how you doing, man? Like there's options out there. I wasn't really feeling the Sam Darnold route, but I would have been more comfortable going there than going Andy Dalton.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, you're wild. You're wild, bro.
Here's why. Andy Dalton's best days are behind him. Barring if he has...
We don't even know what Sam Darnold's best days might even look like.
But at least you can say, you know what? He's 23. We'll give him a year.
Bro, forget that potential. Forget that potential stuff. You've been in the league 3 years.
I understand.
What have you done?
But Andy Dalton's been in 10.
Yeah, at least he's been in the playoffs.
That was a good team.
He's been over 500.
I don't think...
He's played a full season.
Last season didn't...
Sam Darnold ain't done none of them things. None of them, bro. None of them.
No, but a lot of people say that's the Jets' fault. And we're going to see. Because if he
3 years?
3
years ain't the reason you ain't played a whole full season.
No, but we'll see what happens in Carolina. I do think they'll be okay. I think he's pretty athletic. Do I think Sam Darnold is going to be John Elway like they were projecting? No, but do I think he can have a... Now, I thought this guy was good in Miami, but can he have a Ryan Tannehill kind of resurgence? That's what a lot of people are looking for now.
We'll see, man. Like I said, I've been saying this in the past couple episodes. He has everything he needs, bro. Like, you have two comparable wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
You know how I feel about DJ Moore.
Right.
Huge fan of him. Chris McCaffrey kind of speaks for herself.
Very much so.
Robbie Anderson's a solid number 2. You know what I'm saying?
And you got draft capital.
Right. And,
You got New Orleans that has lost their quarterback. We'll see if that's a good or bad thing for them. Tampa is Tampa. Everybody knows that. And Atlanta's in flux. So right now, you're probably the third best team. Well, you were, record-wise, the third best team. And how good is the second best team right now? How close?
You mean his division or in the NFC?
In the division. I'm talking about the division. I'm keeping it strictly NFC
South.
South.
So you mean NFC South or NFC?
Well, I was just talking about really the Panthers real quick because you mentioned that.
Oh, gotcha.
So that's why I think he has an opportunity to go there, which is why I thought Chicago, who I think is better than Carolina, if he can work out in Carolina, he can work out in Chicago because you have that, minus McCaffrey and more.
I think what really screwed them is because they made the playoffs, you were already too high up in the draft to even gamble on one of these, trial and error guys. Like, honestly, we've talked about how, like, if Justin end up keep sliding, you don't know what they feel about Trey Lance. I'll buy a flyer on it if you don't have the price is not too high on Lance. On Justin, I'm buying that flyer every time.
I think Chicago. I don't think Fields is gonna drop that far. I have a sneaky suspicion. I don't got no intel inside, but I have heard, from a couple people in the business that Fields is not getting out the top 4. So I will go, so him getting to Chicago is not gonna happen.
So you're saying he's going to Atlanta?
That's not what I'm saying, because like I said, I don't know that many scouts in the business, but I do have 2 friends of mine, that I've talked to that the chatter is he ain't getting out the top 4.
Yeah, and I would love to see it.
And there's more talk of him going there too than they talking about. This is from one of my friends. He don't work for the Jets. He worked for the Giants, but he is working in New York. So I will say that.
I low-key want to see how, obviously y'all and the Vikings and even the Lions get kind of better, bro. Like, they signed Kirk Cousins to come here, after going to the NFC Championship. By the name, the quarterback name was Case Keenum. Some superstar named Case Keenum got him there. You signed Kirk Cousins to a fully guaranteed contract, like $30 million a year, and you regressed, bro. Like
I think they're a team that keep an eye on them in the quarterback market. I think they're not going to get one of the high value quarterbacks everyone's talking about, but I'm old enough to remember the college football season this year. When Kyle Trask was a Heisman front runner.
Wow, I can actually see them doing Kyle Trask.
So keep an eye on Chicago with Kyle Trask. I believe Kyle Trask is going to play in the NFC North. Is he going to be in Minnesota or is he going to be in Chicago? I don't know which one, but I do believe he will be in the NFC North.
That actually, because honestly, I can definitely see that too. Like, he has a great selling point to be like, yo, look at the season I had.
Right.
I mean, granted, he had a lot of cool stuff around him. Like,
so did Mac Jones.
Huh?
So did Mac Jones.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking anybody for having this. You want to play with the best people because that brings the best out of you, honestly. But, Kadarius Toney, we don't even got to get into the Kyle Pitts ordeal. And even Grimes, pretty solid, weapons out there to use. So, and, I'm looking forward to it, bro.
I'm interested. I think there's a lot of teams that are in the NFC North. Everybody has quarterback questions, including the team that has the MVP. And then, how do you have arguably the best quarterback in the league today and you got a quarterback question? It makes no sense, But we know what Green Bay's about.
Bro, in hindsight, when you look back at their draft last year, man, them boys really just came from the NFC Championship, and their first 2 picks were useless.
I will say this.
They were useless.
They were.
Like, you're that close, bro, invest a little bit more. What you doing for the future? We right here, we right now. Bro.
I understand. And as bad as their draft is last year, they got a chance to fix it. Are they going to sign Antonio Brown? I don't know. But if they don't, let's say they don't sign Antonio Brown. And
that front office is not built like that.
But I've been reading, some of these mock
drafts. I would
drafts.
be shocked.
I would too.
I would be shocked.
I saw these mock drafts. Let's say you don't go after AB. Let's say he stays in Tampa. I've seen some of these mock drafts, and it's weird how they got this guy sliding. If Devontae Smith slides to
bro, he's not sliding to 20s.
I've seen people. I've seen a mock draft from was it McShay, I believe. Don't quote me on it. I think it was Todd McShay. Had him going 18.
Yeah.
Literally,
that could probably be the farthest, and I don't even see him sliding that far down. Like, it's no way he hits the 20s. No way.
It shouldn't. But
no way, bro.
I'm old enough to remember when Aaron Rodgers wasn't gonna hit the 20s. When they, so
crazier things have happened, bro.
Things happen. You know what I'm saying? So heck, I didn't think Mitch Trubisky was going number 2 overall.
And to be honest with you, I didn't think CeeDee Lamb or Judy was going to slide as far as they did last season. Crazy things do happen.
Somebody's going to slide.
But this man won Heisman.
I agree.
That's different,
but
bro.
See, now
at wide receiver. In 2021, like, that jump don't happen.
But now people are putting his weight. And now, personally, I don't subscribe to that thinking. But a lot of people are concerned. Well, he's 170. Oh my God, can he take it? Come on, man.
Yeah.
But that's what a lot of people are holding that on. If I'm Green Bay, I'm starting a rumor that he's 150. I'm starting a rumor that he's 145, 150. And that he don't eat burgers and he's anorexic. So he slides down to me, and then we pick him up. You know what I'm saying?
I just don't think it's too many teams that need a wide receiver in the 20s that if he gets there, I don't see that happen. Like, the Titans are a team that I can very well see taking another wide receiver, you know, to compare him with A.J. Brown because they just lost Corey Davis.
100%.
You know, the Ravens obviously need another wide receiver. If he gets to 27, I'll be...
They have to get one.
Yeah, like,
they got to get one.
No, by no means do I see, you know, us deciding, hey, we're going to go another direction. I can't see that. Let me actually look at that, too, because I feel like it's more teams just in the 20s alone that could be like, oh, this can be a major boost. I just can't see it, bro.
Well, I mean, like we were discussing earlier off camera, I do think people are overvaluing quarterback position.
For sure.
I think you're going to see some teams. I think you're going to have a record number of quarterbacks drafted in the first round this season. I don't know what the record is, but I would not be surprised if the record is broken this year.
So you're saying 6 people in the first round?
Well, they talk about the first 5 going straight quarterbacks.
Understandable, but listen, do you see 6 people? Because if it's not 6, they can't break the record.
I can see that.
Who the 6th guy?
I could see somebody coming back in the first round to go get Trask.
In the first? Wow.
They got him going early second. I can see that.
I don't know about that, Coach.
They got him going early second. A lot of the projections.
I don't know, bro.
Okay, put it this way. Let's say, obviously, Trevor Lawrence going 1. And I just want to talk about the NFC North, right? Okay. Let's say Fields goes 2. Let's say that's the first dollar. I know we penciled in Wilson at 2. But let's say Fields goes 2. Mac Jones ain't going 3 then.
The Colts could actually use Devontae Smith. I couldn't even think of the rest of the order.
100%.
The Jets, obviously. The Jags. I just can't see it, bro. Like, if he's in the 20s, there's no way he gets to the
Yeah. Well, they got to move up a little bit.
But go ahead.
But let's say there's a little movement at the top, right? And particularly, I think the guy that will slide the furthest would be Mac Jones. Because a lot of people have him at 3 or 15. They don't really got him at 9 or nothing like that. I mean, they got him at 3 to 15.
Yeah.
I don't think Belichick is as sold on these quarterbacks as everybody wants them to be. So let's say New England don't get a quarterback, right? Then you got teams like a Minnesota. You know, you got these teams like a Pittsburgh. You see what I'm saying? I can see those kind of teams. I hear Kellen Mond is shooting up. I'm
not even the biggest Kellen Mond guy either.
I'm not either, but that's what I'm saying, the overvaluing of quarterbacks. It would not surprise me if Jones goes later, somebody else, a team like, you know, let's go up and maybe go, you know, because now people are quarterback happy at the end of the round, end of the draft, end of the first round, than the beginning. Because the beginning of the draft, San Francisco needs a receiver more than a quarterback.
No, for sure.
But they look quarterback happy because it's been preached to you. You know, they got to get that.
And we talked about this beforehand. Obviously, they're going to go Mac Jones. That's what it looks. Not obviously. A quarterback, it looks like Mac Jones.
Right.
If they were to get Jamar Chase, Jamar Chase, Kittle, Debo, whatever running back they have, because Shanahan can make running backs look like, you know, great, you know, overnight or whatnot. This is a dangerous offense, dog.
100%.
This is dangerous.
Yeah, and obviously the defense is still the defense. Man. I mean, like I said, if you're trying to, that's what I'm thinking. The NFC North, there's teams in there, particularly that division, depending on what happens at the top, that could shift. Because no one has Minnesota linked to a quarterback right now. But if a quarterback drops, what happens? They may do it. Then you'll have a team at the back end of the first round like, okay, they
just read up on Kirk's contract, though, like literally last season. And it's like 4 years.
I mean,
that's a lot of dead money to get off.
Hey, NFL a dirty
They're
business.
Just stupid for like doing that.
It's a dirty business, you know,
Man.
Because now you replace.
It's fully guaranteed, though.
You replace Stephon Diggs with another high-level receiver.
Justin Jefferson's that man. He's that man.
You see what I'm saying? So,
but they got other holes though. They need an edge rusher. They need O-line help. It couldn't help to get another safety. Well, not. Yeah, it couldn't help to get another safety out there.
Yeah, I mean, they got other. It just depends on, do you think Kirk Cousins can beat Tampa Bay? Do you think Kirk Cousins in the playoffs can beat Green Bay? Do you think Kirk Cousins, if they're playing Kansas City in Los Angeles next year for the Super Bowl, that they can beat the Chiefs?
But I think we know the answer to those. Like, I think we know the answer to all those. I don't think any of that's really going to take place.
So if you don't believe that, hey, do you think Kirk Cousins can beat Seattle? You know, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It just depends on. We don't know what they think about him because now they've seen him. I know they had the great win against New Orleans, but they also blew a game where Garoppolo played terrible against San Francisco that they should have won.
Yeah.
You know, I'm old enough to remember this game too. People act like this is ancient history. I watched the full inside. I'm thinking Minnesota might pull this off. But Cousins, he struggled.
Hey, man.
And this year he struggled.
Yeah, like, he has no excuse for me, dog. Like, you know, you replace, you know, Stephon Diggs with, you know, Justin. Adam Thielen's a solid player. Dalvin Cook's a top 3 running back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
They there.
Yeah, like, you have no really excuse for me, bro. You just have, obviously, I think we also, you know, put too many wins sometimes all on the quarterback because it's more than just that. It's a team game.
I do agree.
But, yo, you have the ingredients to make this work. If you know, the guy you say you are, make that jump work, bro. This also why I don't necessarily think this Matt Stafford joint is going to be as great as people think it is.
Well, as a guy that follows the NFC North, I think people penciling in the Rams to the Super Bowl because of Matt Stafford is absolutely hilarious to me.
Yeah, bro, like
it's absolutely
like literally this same, you know, offseason or whatnot where this takes place, he's watching, you know, his best weapon ever go into the Hall of Fame, first ballot, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, another guy who was another leader on that team, you know, Dominican Sue, literally won a championship. But, you know, Matt Stafford, you know, just doesn't have anything to work with. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's had a cord that was pretty straight.
There was years when they had Sue and Nick Fairley when the defense was top 10.
Yeah.
When Jim Schwartz was there. I remember
Jim Schwartz actually knows to talk about on defense.
I remember him and Harbaugh had a little spat, but, you know, there was years where they went, you know, that's why, I know this is a different team. I hate Cowboy fans because they always talk about Dez caught the ball. But they
literally, right before
the game before that.
Before that.
When they cheated Detroit out of a pass.
What is it? Pedigree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Pedigree, yep. And I just think it's very Detroit. They had some years where they were 12-4, 11-5. Like they had some years, but they had really high level teams where they were playing.
Right.
You know, a lot of people talk about the meme with not the meme, the picture of Calvin Johnson and the two corners doubling them at the goal line. A lot of people forget that's a playoff game. You know, like that wasn't a week 4 bout. That was a wild card game. So Detroit's had some good teams. Matt Stafford's had some good teams.
No, yeah, for sure.
It's easy to dog the Lions because of
just like being a cursed franchise.
Right,
I will keep it a band though. Consistently, the defense has not been all that great, but they've had years in which they've been like, oh, this serves something to work with.
When he first got there, they were good.
Yeah, but even like through the middle of the time period where, you know, Nick Fairley, like you said, and Dominican Sue was out there, you know, they had Darius Slade, you know, out there. You know, they've had, you know, some bodies. Deion had a couple years where he was pretty straight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like they've had some talent out there. It's just sometimes when you don't believe in a team, you don't believe in your leader, that jump don't get the job done. And granted, you know, Matt Stafford is, you know, all you know, super talented guy. But talent don't always translate to winning, dog. There was
times in the past 2 years, I know a lot of people get on Matt Patricia, but there was times the past 2 years, one of my best friends was with the Lions at the time. I'm not going to get into that whole situation, but shout out my boy Brett, by the way. But, you know, there was times in the past 2 seasons where the Lions, I'm watching them, I'm like, yo, this team's not really as bad as people make them seem.
Exactly, man. Like
it's easy to look at the Lions and say, oh, they lost 30-27, to say they're terrible because we're so
brainwashed, bro.
We're so trained to think the Lions are a terrible, terrible team. But I'm old enough to remember when the Cardinals were down there, when the Browns were down there, when the Saints were down there.
Sure.
Drew Brees went to New Orleans, and the Saints, they used, you know, particularly before, you know, in the 90s, in the 80s, they were called the Aints. But now all of a sudden, the Saints are like a model franchise. The Arizona Cardinals are one of the, pretty much since Kurt Warner went there, they've been
up and down,
a very, very, very good team. They've had some down years with Skelton and all them clowns, but they've been in the NFC Championship game. They've been to the Super Bowl. They're on the playoff. Probably will be a playoff team this year. Probably should have won last year if Murray don't get hurt week 17.
That's real too.
So you got teams that were bad. The Browns literally had a great season this year. You know,
they're gonna win the division this year.
So that's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, it's kind of early right now, but honestly, if you ask me, I think they might win this division now.
I think it's interesting because,
like, literally, the pass rush is going to be like really
amazing.
Great. You know, like
it should. Oh yeah.
And Clowney's always, you know, it's not always. He's unproduced, you know, for his career. You know, based on who we thought he was supposed to be. But yo, sometimes it's all about like matchups and how you pair certain talent with other people. Yo, this gonna look kind of crazy because you're not gonna be able to double team Myles Garrett and Clowney at the same time, and they are great, you know, explosive first off the line on their first step, and that's low key. You get there, and then obviously they know as far as like technique to kind of like beat, you know, a simple bull rush or a simple club or whatever you want to do to get past that first, you know, tackle or you know tight end that's gonna block you. this is gonna be kind of crazy, bro. Like I can see, this is gonna be a quarterback's worst nightmare.
I can see that. I think if Baltimore get a big play receiver, I mean everybody knows
so much more than that now, bro. Because look, it depends on if we get this later time point in general. It depends on what we do with this Orlando Brown ordeal. Like if we ship him out, I don't know if we're able to replace him with a better right tackle right now because you're going to need somebody that can hold their own up out there.
Right.
But like I said, we need edge help. We need another wide receiver. We need some interior line help. Like more particular in center for me personally. It's just a lot, bro. But if you ask me right now, it's the Browns. It's the Browns division to lose.
I think so. I'm not writing off Baltimore or Pittsburgh. I'm not taking Cincinnati serious right now. As far as that discussion.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think they're a clown show, but
for sure.
Come on. The other teams are winning 12 a year, so 11, 12 a year.
For sure.
I think that I'm interested about Pittsburgh. Like I know they finished slow, but Pittsburgh's the kind of team. First of all, Mike Tomlin never has a losing season.
Of course.
So bare minimum, they're winning 8-9 games on a terrible year.
Yeah, of course.
Do I think that Pittsburgh could go 11-5, 12-4 again? Do I think that could be good enough to win?
I'm not writing them off. I just don't think they're a better team.
No, but Pittsburgh know how to win.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I'm not discounting them to go to the playoffs, have a winning record. But they don't look like a better team than the Steelers right now. I mean, the Browns look a better team than the Steelers. They look the best team in the division.
Well, here's the thing. The Browns are interesting because
they did just cut Sheldon Richardson though.
When Odell plays,
which is kind of big. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Nah, it is. When Odell plays, Baker's not that good anymore. When Odell doesn't play, all of a sudden Baker Mayfield looks like a high-level Pro Bowl, borderline All-Pro quarterback.
It could also be growth, man. It could also be growth.
It could be, but I'm just based off the evidence we've personally seen. Because I still think, I know Odell's had injuries the past 4 years, but I think he is a heck of a talent,
Yeah. I'm not counting him out.
And if they could get that fixed, because when they played Kansas City, I'm watching that game, and all the pundits are saying, get rid of Odell. I'm watching that game against Kansas City.
They probably need Odell.
The exact player they were missing, a lot like we were saying with the Warriors, the player they missing is hurt. The Browns, the person they're missing is hurt.
True, man.
So I'm interested to see, but football, it changes every year, man. There's going to be teams. We don't take the Lions serious right now. Watch them go. I'm not saying they're going 11-5.
They can go in almost any direction right now.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy part to me. It's unpredictable how they can move. They can use corner help to help somebody with Jeff Okudah. Jeff Okudah, man.
Great player.
Yeah.
Great player.
Big fan of him, bro. They go anywhere, any direction. They are pretty much the biggest wild card to me. They could even say, hey, Jared, your team didn't believe in you. Why should we believe in you too? We're going to double down and get a quarterback. I wouldn't do that though. Mm-hmm. I would try to build up the team as much as they can. Give Jared a year to see what he's going to do. And honestly, if we're being real with ourselves, is Jared Goff a more talented guy than Matt Stafford? No. But is he more accomplished?
Yes, he
is. Yeah.
He's winning more Pro Bowls. A lot of people be shocked. You can go look that up.
More playoff wins. More playoff appearances. Granted, he's been on the better team. I'm not going to,
I will say that, but here's the thing what people keep missing about golf. Golf isn't, when we rank quarterbacks, and I think, I know, we're not talking NBA, but in the NBA, I think Michael Jordan cast a big cloud over the league where Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, everybody, we always compare them to Michael Jordan. Uh-huh. In the NFL, I'm starting to see that now with Tom Brady, where as a quarterback, if you're not as good as Tom Brady, if you're not as accomplished as Tom Brady, you're no good. You're going to sit and pretend Peyton Manning wasn't a great quarterback? Are we really going to sit here and pretend Aaron Rodgers isn't one of the greatest players we've ever seen?
It's hella disrespectful.
So I think when we look at Jared Goff, he was drafted number 1 overall. So in our heads, even though Brady wasn't number 1, we're thinking, okay, New England was winning all these games and Tampa did this. He has to be that. If we take, that's why I mentioned Sam Darnold earlier. If you take the expectation a little bit down, and watch the production go up.
Though.
Like Tannehill. Because Tannehill, when he went to the Titans, his expectation wasn't the same as it was in Miami. Even though Miami was pretty good, he had a couple 4,000-yard years.
He did. And didn't they make the playoffs 1 year with him?
Yeah.
He did.
You see what I'm saying? So, but now his expectation from his personal production was lower, and all of a sudden, people are like, wow, he's doing so great. I could see Jared Goff having a Ryan Tannehill type resurgence. I don't know if it's quite going to be Rich Gannon type resurgence, but at least a Ryan Tannehill type resurgence in Detroit, because now he's viewed as, people are pretending he's a bust. You know,
it just depends on how they move in this draft or the rest of free agency. Like,
and if you think Jared Goff is no good, I want y'all to get on YouTube, go rewatch. That would have been the 2018 NFC
against the Cowboys.
No,
that was the championship game. That was the game beforehand. That game was the Cowboys. He was balling, and that game against the Saints.
Those are the two I'm talking about.
Like,
particularly that Saints. The end of the game, everyone talks about the penalty that didn't happen. Go look at the last 3 drives of the Rams, and go look at the throws that he was
made
making.
some big time throws, man. Of like, okay, like I can work with this now.
And this before COVID, when fans was in the stands.
Yeah, like and this was in New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? Like 100%. It wasn't on some like home game at the crib. And no, like this is New Orleans. This is people don't come here and take lunch money. He did that.
This is the scariest place to play in the
and you know how I feel about Todd Gurley. You know, like great running back. You know, at the end of his career at this point, if you want me to be honest with you, but like. That run, bro, he was the best running back in the league, and I'm not taking any kind of debates, you know, for X, Y, and Z in general. That playoff run, Todd Gurley was clearly hurt, bro, and it wasn't the same. It wasn't like they was just here, Todd Gurley, carry us there. Jared Goff was doing what he could. Now, the Super Bowl, it didn't look all that pretty. But,
you gotta understand, that's the same defense that had Mahomes struggling early.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's the same defense that turned the Chargers that year. That was also a highly good team.
I actually had picked the Chargers to win the, you know.
That was a lot of people picking them to win the Super Bowl that year because of their D-line and the way they matched up with Kansas City.
Yeah. Melvin Gordon was in his bag. Not Melvin Gordon. Melvin Ingram was in his bag. Joey was like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Casey Hayward was, bro, that defense was going crazy, bro.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, we forget how good that Chargers team was, or we really low-key forget how good that Chiefs team was, or that Rams team, because, once again, we cast this spell over people because of Brady. And when we look at quarterbacks, we're looking at Zach Wilson, we're looking at Trevor Lawrence. If Trevor Lawrence doesn't become a 7-time Pro Bowler, people are going to view him as a bust. What if Trevor Lawrence is just a 4-time Pro Bowler? People are going to find.
I'm not liking the comments he had recently, though.
I mean, I personally come from the, if you know people that know me, you know my work ethic when it came to football. So I personally am a little bit more lunch pail guy. I love that Kobe Bryant, Tom Brady, push your chips to the middle of the deck attitude. That's just the way I come up.
He doesn't all in, bro. Like, the thing is, like, I will have to admit, like, I think Trevor Lawrence is probably the best player in the draft, just on how impactful he can be. He plays quarterback and does that real well. I'm not going to, like, say anything as far as negative in general. But let that be anybody. Let Justin Fields came out here and said, yo.
I would love for you to bring me back 1 week from today, and we can have a full draft quarterback talk. I ain't going to give some hot takes right now. But I would personally love to discuss every top-tier quarterback in this draft.
I hear it.
And I'm going to say something different than what Kuiper, McShay,
as you should, bro.
Brian Barnwell, all them people.
As you should, bro. We shouldn't be robots just because they say something on TV. Watch it with your own eyes.
Because unlike a lot of those guys, from playing college football, we both watch it.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys that are on ESPN,
they'll watch the highlights and the stats and be like, oh, this is what we go off of.
Or they say, okay, you say.
Or they don't think about all the other factors that go along with this.
Or they say, okay, this guy's good. Okay, cool, he's good.
Yeah.
A lot of these people say, I ain't trying to turn this into a draft projection, but a lot of these people say Trevor Lawrence is the second coming. And don't get me wrong, I'm a big Trevor Lawrence fan, but I will say this. I remember when Deshaun Watson was coming out, right? Mm-hmm. And my boy Kendall Vickers, he gonna watch this, he gonna probably comment. He loves Lamar Jackson. You know what I'm saying? And our debate was always between Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. When they were coming out, obviously the Heisman and stuff at Louisville, the championships at Clemson. I'm
a Ravens fan, bro, but I still to this day would say Deshaun Watson's a better player.
But you can also look at it and say, even before all the stuff that's going on, just football to football.
Or Deshaun Watson, I'm sorry,
You can look at it football to football. One has a Heisman and an MVP. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like sometimes just because you have awards sometimes don't mean that you're the better player.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, but you can also, but that's hard to take away though. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't.
It's hard to take away, but one also has a college, championship and been in the playoffs multiple times and been in the championship game multiple times. Yeah. Granted, Louisville was not a better team, but like.
And so that's the argument though. When you talk from college to college, One went to a bigger school and did that. So the argument I'm trying to make.
And better coaching, because Bible Trino is not Dabo. So,
No.
where you want to.
He's great, better quarterback coach. I will say that.
Yeah, but overall coach, give me Debo, not Debo, Dabo.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you got to be careful when it comes to the draft to fall in love with the player everyone falls in love with. And what I'm saying is, a couple years ago, we talked about him earlier. Sam Darnold couldn't lose. You know what I'm saying? I remember that. I remember Jamarcus Russell was on his knees at a pro day throwing across the LSU facility. That's how Jimbo Fisher really was getting big. I'm old enough to remember when, Brady Quinn, he was taking Notre Dame over and doing this kind of stuff.
Man.
A lot of these guys.
He was supposed to be the face for the Broncos. Go ahead.
A lot of these guys can't miss. Prospects miss.
They do.
I want y'all, if y'all got time to go to YouTube, go look up the 1998 NFL draft.
I'm going to be a band with you, bro. I honestly think now, thinking about this for real, he's going to be Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck was a guy people said couldn't.
He's going to be Andrew Luck.
And they keep comparing him to Andrew Luck.
I'm starting to question, with that kind of comment, not to say your love for the game. Cause you do what you could to get there. You love it. You know what I'm saying? Let's not say question it because you don't know. You're not in his brain. You don't know how hard he's willing to work. But I'm starting to think this is going to be Andrew Luck. I think the hype's going to be too big, but he's still a good player, so he's going to have a solid career. I just don't think it's going to be solid on some I'm bringing 3 rings back to the crib, Jacksonville.
And I gotta understand, I'm from Jacksonville, so if he won a Super Bowl with Jaguars, I'm gonna be first at the parade. I'm from Jacksonville. I love to see the Jaguars do good. Shout out Fred Taylor, Mark Brunell, all them guys. Y'all got me into football. But we gotta also look at the data. Okay, what's the likelihood of success here? You gotta. I love Urban Meyer because I wanted to go to Florida. Everybody that knows me, I know the Tennessee thing happened. But before all of that, I wanted to go to Florida because of Urban Meyer and Percy Harvin. What's the likelihood of a coach that's never coached in the NFL, a former college coach?
I believe in Urban, man. I believe in Urban.
I do, but see,
I believe in him.
But sometimes
he's the winner, dog.
I feel that, but take emotion out of it and just look at statistics. What's the statistics of former college coach? Been out the game for a couple of years. Take
3 years, 2 years.
Coaching it
changes. Yes, it does. It does.
And then you're out the game to go to another league. You see what I'm saying? It's not like he's going back to college where he dominates. He's going to another league. I want Urban to succeed, but I'm saying we're projecting Trevor Lawrence is going to take the Jaguars to 14-2.
No, by no means. I think they're going to struggle the first 2 years. Just if you want to be honest, but it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. I think maybe by year 4. If they can legitimately have to make a real team because they got stuff out there that's cool. Miles Jack is an underrated linebacker.
I love bro.
Chuck is a 5-wide receiver. He doesn't get the notoriety because they lose for real. The running back they had was undrafted, the guy from something Robinson. Pretty solid. They got some stuff out there that they can start to have building blocks with, but always is a team kind of sport. So, and they still got bread. You know what I'm saying? Do what you can to build up this team.
I get that, but the history of rookie college coaches that retired for a couple of years coming in and succeeding is very low.
And when you different, that don't matter to me.
We're going to see how,
when you different, that's them. That ain't me.
I understand, but we're going to see, though. You see what I'm saying? I'm just talking about the history. Sometimes you got to follow what history says. The history tells us if you're the number 1 overall quarterback, if I told you,
you're probably going to be more of a downward than it is because it's too much expectations for you.
If I told you to name the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now,
the top what?
Top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
None of them are number 1 picks.
You know what I'm saying? If I tell you to name me the last quarterback that's been the best quarterback in the league that was the number 1 pick,
you have to go to Peyton Manning.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to say. And if you even go before that, you're gonna be very shocked at how rare that happens.
Right.
So, and Peyton Manning got drafted in '98. And if you took Peyton out of that, you got to go even further back to the mid '80s.
True.
Joe Montana wasn't the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we can really get into that. So what I'm saying is, you also got to look at situation. I love Jacksonville. I'm not confident Jacksonville going to be a great team, and I'm from Jacksonville. The Jets, they could be okay, but we're gonna see. Now the 49ers, okay, if Fields go to the 49ers. Because I think Fields is miles better than Mac Jones.
The crazy thing is, man, if you really took this in a vacuum for real, just black and white, bro. I guess you based on your team needs or whatnot. Is Mac Jones the third best player in this draft?
No.
That's my point. Like, let's make it black and white, bro. Is he the third best player in this draft? Is he better than Kyle Pitts? Is he better than Chase? Is he better than Justin Fields? No, like
Devontae Smith.
Is he better? I don't even think he's better than Waddle. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep this 100.
And ain't Sewell. I mean,
yeah,
really go to
it just doesn't sit right, and I think this is going to be set up for failure.
But here's my thing. Everyone's saying he's the next Tom Brady, like Christian Hackenberg was the next Tom Brady. But here's the thing.
Shout out to Penn State.
You got to look at what's going on in the league, right? Mac Jones is out of all these top tier quarterbacks, he's the least athletic.
Hey, I'm sorry. Can we go back to that, bro? The Jets have been like swinging and missing pretty often there.
Mm-hmm.
Christian, they're going to swing on Kyle Wilson and miss. They swung on Sam Darnold and missed.
All right.
The last hit they really got, Loki's a miss himself and Mark Sanchez. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
They've been swinging and missing.
I really think that last one was Chad Pennington. I thought Chad Pennington was straight. He just kept getting hurt.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? I thought it was all right.
But that was before Mark Sanchez, though.
Yeah, that was like 2000. That was when Brady got drafted.
Yeah.
He was the only one in that draft that
right.
kind of was going at him a little bit.
They've been swinging and missing a long time.
But check this out. That's why they want Wilson, because they want the Mahomes situation going on. But what I'm telling people is, when you evaluating players, coming from the football background, if you got 5 quarterbacks, you're the least athletic. Okay. All right, so first we got to start there. You're the least athletic. You talk about how great his decision making is. He's the only one that has a DUI. None of them do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not holding that against him.
Like,
sometimes you got to call facts or facts.
Yeah, but that's like decision making off the field. Yes.
Did that stop Johnny Manziel?
I understand that. I'm with you, bro. But
were we questioning Baker Mayfield's decision making when that cop was chasing and tackling him? Yes, people were.
Yeah.
But see, check this out. They're saying Justin Fields doesn't work hard. Check this out. Trevor Lawrence he's not caring about football. And I'm not saying that you don't have no right. Everybody, you question everybody.
Yeah.
Why isn't nobody questioning Mac Jones about before this season when he played the end of last season?
No one talks about that. They lost to Auburn that year.
And he got exposed.
Yeah.
No one talks about this stuff. They're saying he's the next Tom Brady when he doesn't have a big arm. He's not athletic. He
actually reminds me very much of Matt Ryan. They very much throw to a spot as far as like how they play, and like it's a very systematic kind of thing. Nothing is freelance. Everything has to be on schedule.
When they both come in the league, because I used to watch Matt Ryan at Boston College. Now a lot of people see older Matt Ryan. When Matt Ryan first came in, he could move a little bit.
Yeah,
because he his basketball background, he was athletic. And don't get me wrong, Mac Jones went to bowls. I went to bowls in Jacksonville. I got no disrespect for Mac Jones. But you got to call a spade a spade. If you're the least athletic, you're the least accurate, your decision making to this point has been proven the least, you were on the bench the longest, what is the likelihood you become the best one out of it?
I think they should go off the basis of like everything they asked him to do, he did it.
What quarterback that's played at Alabama recently, even Blake Sims, who was a running back, has not put up gaudy numbers?
Jalen didn't put up gaudy numbers.
No, Jalen Hurts didn't. But even then, he still was good enough to take them to the national championship and have them leaving with a minute left. He did everything he could do as a quarterback to have them win the game. Now, what happened at the end was a whole different story.
That's real. And literally all 3 years, like the first year against Clemson, the second year against us, the next year, against Clemson, and obviously not, he wasn't the starter that year. But if he doesn't come in and do what he does against Georgia, they're not there.
So what I'm saying is every quarterback at Alabama at least puts.
But he didn't put up gaudy numbers. But you're right.
They put up decent numbers. Like that's what I'm trying to say though. Like very rarely does. I mean, Cooper Bateman put up good numbers. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you could put up good numbers at Alabama and still not be a great quarterback. Yeah. Usually, when you're getting drafted in the first round, usually you got pretty good stats. You're not 14 TDs, 14 interceptions.
Why we there too? Because I kind of want to make this quick little transition into this. Like as far as like, I watched that game, yesterday and whatnot. Literally, they got another one, Bryce Young. It's kind of crazy. He's young and still make kind of like those kind of mistakes, but bruh is poised, bro. He is so poised back there. Now, some of the decision making he make is like, okay, you're young, I can tell. There's a couple of throws he made that was like, in those situations, being there beforehand, you'll know you can't do this. But boy, did Georgia's in trouble. Like, I know we said this beforehand in another episode as far as like, if it's any year that, you know, kind of claim the top dog thing, this is the year. That's still kind of true to whatever degree because he hasn't done anything yet. You did whatever you did at spring day. Cool, fine. But based on that, I'm like, dang, that won't be a problem for them next year or this year.
I think, Bama's Bama, man. I mean, it's hard to really.
God.
I mean,
the IG Hall guy, he's a freshman, bro. It was some throw that Bryson had on the left sideline of it, just jump ball, 2 people in the middle. Bro, it's kind of crazy. And they're about to be, not about to, they argue at this point. I think I used to go back and forth with them and Clemson as far as like who had the best wide receivers.
Over LSU?
Huh?
Over LSU? I'm not saying LSU is better, I'm just putting them in there as well.
You know what? LSU is probably 2 for me. You're right.
Okay.
They're probably 2 for me. But Bama literally is like, every year now, like, or every 2 years or whatnot, we're going to send a 5 wide receiver that's going to make an impact in the league.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about wide receiver you, running back you, even if you're not the definitive winner, if you continue being in the discussion for that, D-line you and cornerback you and DB you, if every position you in that division, in that discussion,
it is crazy.
That's why you're winning it. Because you got teams like maybe Florida that may be in DBU discussion, but they may not be in this one discussion. And you got teams like this, this school may be wide receiver U discussion, but they're not in DBU or D-line U or quarterback U discussion. You know what I'm saying? They're in all of the discussions, which is, football is very. Sometimes we overcomplicate things. If you're the most talented team, 9 times out of 10 you're probably gonna win the game. Let's just be, I ain't taking injuries and all that kind of stuff out of it. If you got more talent, significantly more talent than the other team, you're probably going to win. We can look for the Rudy story all we want.
For sure.
But at the end of the day,
talent speaks.
The better 5 stars that translate usually win.
Yeah, for
Which is why Alabama is Alabama, and that's why. Certain other people are certain other people. Just being honest.
Nah, that's the plain and simple way to do it. If I had the best players, I'm gonna win. Like you
got the best players and you got the best coach.
Yeah,
and your facilities is
even
top
watching
tier.
Even watching Nick Saban coach up. This is a spring game. And his intensity and how he applied it to the game out there. And maybe it's because he's doing it just for camera, or maybe it might be realistic of how he actually does practice, but. Part of me believes that this is how he does on and off camera. Yeah. We just had the beauty to see it yesterday. I
have people that play for him. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Up until what's the boy Robinson that got drafted by the Jaguars. Up until him, every 5-star he had recruited to Alabama had won in the first round.
Are you talking about the Cam Robinson guy?
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Because he was a second round pick.
Gotcha.
And he had a couple injuries that knocked him down to the second round. You know what I'm saying? So what that stat tells you is that Alabama brings in talent, but boy do they develop. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing where, there's other schools. I was at Tennessee, we had 5 stars. There's other schools out there that get 5 stars.
Yeah. You'll maximize your potential if you willing to put in the work.
Yeah. That's the thing. I remember knowing Marlon Humphrey when he was in high school at Hoover. And,
I didn't think he was going to be as good as he is today. I'm not going to lie to you, though. But I'm glad we made that pick.
I always knew he was a special athlete because of his family's background. If you don't know about him,
of course,
But I didn't know he was going to be, in that discussion for best cornerback in football.
I knew he was that good.
That's hard to predict with anybody. But he was always a special talent. And what I'm saying is it made so much sense. His dad went to Alabama, too. But it makes so much sense why he went there and did what he was doing and doing what he's doing. You see what I'm saying? But he was literally a special talent.
Yeah.
And Alabama, when they get these players, because a lot of people, talk about Alvin Kamara went there. Think about this, because obviously I know AK. He went there in the same recruiting class that Derrick Henry was in. Think about this. Alvin Kamara and Derrick Henry are 2 of the top 2 running backs in the business. And they both was in the same recruiting class at Alabama.
Do you think about how crazy that running back core was there? They had T.J. Yeldon right there at that point. They had King Drake. Obviously, we just said, AK and Derrick Henry. It's another cat that was on that same roster that it was he was just the guy that casually was there that was just need the PT. Just getting PT because, that room was so crowded.
Right, yeah. They had a lot of guys, you know what I'm saying? And it was that picture's gonna go down in history,
God.
But that's just the type of stuff. You could look up at the quarterback room in Alabama a couple years ago when it was Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, and Mac Jones. You know what I'm saying? You could look at their receiving room a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Judy, Ruggs, Smith, and Waddle.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
that's crazy.
They do this. Their DB room is known for doing that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So
The DB room hasn't been effective at like
I'm
that
talking
big,
about, I'm talking about historically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They've
Yeah.
always had. I remember when I was, in my time, they had Vinny Sunseri was a safety, and he was getting picks and taking stuff back on Menzel, and he was balling.
For sure.
And the guy who backed him up was Landon Collins. So Sunseri was like an All-American, and he wasn't even
too, man.
and he wasn't even the best safety on his own team.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's how they do at Alabama. So as much as I dislike Alabama, I can't.
Of course, man. This is all business, but they're gonna get it done, man. They are gonna get it done, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, shout out to your boy Eddie George, man.
Eddie George, man.
Shout out to that boy Eddie
If
George.
y'all know anything about me, I love Eddie George. Rest in
Man.
peace, Steve McMahon. Those are two of my
Man.
favorite players, and seeing Eddie George going to Tennessee State, it's
I like it, man. I like it a lot, man.
it's beautiful.
I hope that like it works out really well because this can start being a foundation for a lot of black head coaches. We got to get what we get. You start
100%.
there, make your impact, open your eyes and be like, no, I should be the person that should be at these bigger name programs, and I'll change that phase too. If you want to be on the sideline and watch it happen, it's cool, but it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing, like Eddie George going to Tennessee State. Now you got a respected black player, a second one because you got Deion already at Jackson. So you got a player that people in our generation recognize.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We recognize these names.
For sure.
And him to do that at Tennessee State he's obviously from Ohio, but
Yeah,
in his
but
backyard where he made his money in the professional ranks,
Mhm.
he's a legend in Nashville. So him to do that there, he's going to pick up a lot of players in the state of Tennessee. And I will say this: let's say he does good there. Tennessee, we have a coaching opening every 4 years. I feel like so you do good for a couple years, you're gonna get an opportunity.
You would like to see that? I actually would like to
I
see
would
that.
100%
I would like to see that.
love to see that.
I would like to see it for the culture. I would not like to see it as a Georgia fan because he's going to bring talent there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've seen Deion Sanders legitimately take committed cornerback that was supposed to be committed to Georgia this past recruiting cycle. He was transferred from like a JUCO and just say, nah, I'm gonna go play with Deion.
But think about this: I played DB in college. I would have loved to have been coached. No disrespect to my coaches. I would have loved to have been coached by the best cornerback in the history of the NFL.
For sure.
And, I mean, could you? Come on, man. That's
For sure.
That's hard to really say. You know
For
what?
sure.
I'm gonna turn that down, especially as a cornerback.
Yeah, for
You know
sure.
what I'm saying? Like that's tough. So imagine if Deion got offered, particularly by Florida State, because that's obviously where he played at.
That's what he wants to get back to, and I hope he get there.
And could you imagine Deion Sanders at Florida State?
Man,
I guarantee you, if he was at Florida State, they would be knocking on Alabama's. They was on their heels a couple years ago, the whole Jameis era.
Yeah.
But they would be back to that level because of the time.
They were there, not knocking on the heels.
Yeah, I'm saying as far as overtaking them as the
They won a national championship one of them years.
Well,
Yeah, it's Auburn.
But everyone always used Alabama as the gold standard.
For sure, but I'm
But
saying
there was a chance they had a chance to become, because I thought they was going to keep it, kind of be with Ohio State, Clemson. I thought they were going to do what Clemson did, win a couple.
where went south with them is they didn't have somebody to really come on after Jameis. What's the guy name? Francois.
Yeah.
He wasn't as good as I thought he was going to be, and then how this Jumbo joint went left as far as I'm saying I just need more bread to build up this facility. Look what Alabama doing.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't do that, we can't compete with them. And look at Florida State now.
Yeah.
Look at Texas A&M now. You know what I'm saying? It's the reason why Texas A&M is recruiting the best people right now. They've been a top 4, top 5 recruiting class the past 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, they get better. Literally, year after year, the past 2 years, they've been not even disrespectful. I'm probably the second, maybe third best team in the SEC West.
I'm going to go third because LSU did sneak a title in there.
Yeah, but last year they weren't.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, in that span, I got to put some
and they've been better than Auburn.
Yeah.
So,
So you gotta understand, Texas is football country. I'm from Florida too, so I we do that there, and obviously I'm from Georgia as well, so we do that there. But Texas,
for sure.
Everybody know. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
It's not a secret. So Jimbo there is going to continue doing great, but I want to see more black coaches. I want to see another great player go to Prairie View A&M You know, because imagine in Texas getting those guys.
Right.
You know, you got Deion there.
It's a different level of relatability, bro.
I would love to see that, you know, because then we keep excelling at these HBCU levels. We bring value back to the HBCUs.
Right.
Then the big white schools, the Tennessees, the Georgias, all those schools,
They're
the
gonna be
Ohio
forced to
States.
be like, all right, bro, I gotta go in my pocket to get, you know, other black, you know, coaches. You know.
And think about this: once that happens, then the NFL teams that are going 4-12 every year that always go hire these mediocre coaches,
Right.
mediocre college record coaches. I'm not gonna put their names out here, y'all know them.
Yeah.
Then now they're forced to say, well, dang, Florida State went 10-2. Let's give Deion a shot. You know,
For sure.
hey, the Volunteers. I'm just assuming these guys go to these places. Hey, the Volunteers, they won the SEC this year. You know, let's see what Eddie George can do. You know, let's just say, I don't know, I'm just throwing a guy out there. Let's say Warren Sapp or somebody. I'm just throwing any name out there. Let's say,
Warren Sapp.
you know, some of these guys, you know, become a coach, right? Or Ed Reed, you know, takes Bethune-Cookman.
Ed Reed would be like an interesting thing for me, just because I think he definitely left the coach.
Mhm.
I just don't think he likes to be the head honcho to like always be the main guy. I think he likes his niche
100%.
and wants to stay in that niche. Like if he coaches, I want to coach his DBs.
Mm-hmm.
Just for me following him, you know, that's my favorite player of all time. So like,
Yeah.
just he doesn't seem to be like I want that much control.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm just, you know, this is just me hypothesizing names.
Yeah.
So, like, if these guys came out and they got more, you know, let's say, you know, these guys go there and then they continue excelling, you know, then the big SEC Power 5 schools got to sign guys.
Yeah.
And then once that happens, then the NFL has no choice but then to hire these guys.
No, sure.
We know the pipeline
For
to
sure.
get more black coaches in the NBA and NFL. We know the pipeline. It's unfair that we got to do it, but unfortunately, I think
you gotta play the rules sometimes and beat them at their game.
if you really look at it,
Gotta
these
beat
black
them at the
coaches going to HBCUs are going to save a lot of HBCUs that are having problems with
That's
funding.
it.
I'm not trying to turn this into that kind of show,
But
but having problems with funding, they're going to save those schools. Then they're going to go make the money at the bigger ones, and then they're going to have a chance to coach on Sundays to give us this. So right now, it looks unfair that we got to do this, but I'm telling you, give it 5 years.
Yeah,
You'll see.
you just gotta play the game. Just
Because
gotta play the game.
Deion Sanders, Eddie George,
Uh,
there's 5 more that we don't know about that's at least pondering it seriously.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely inspired some other people to probably be like, I want to do the same thing and
Right.
be impactful. And the more people that do it, the more exposure to do it, the more it's going to be like, all right, we got to open our eyes to do it. But we
And-
have to, you know, move differently, you know?
And I personally believe that's where a lot of athletes can use their impact. A lot of people want to be an athlete / senator, you know, and that may not be your specialty.
Yeah.
But if you're an athlete, a lot of times your gift is in athletics.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders has never tried to be.
A politician.
You see what I'm
Never.
saying?
He's always
Because
stayed in
his
lane.
gift is always sports.
Yeah.
So he's using his gift to help the black experience and the black coaches in that area. Same
sure.
with Eddie George. Same with a lot of black athletes like myself. We may not be, you know, I know a lot of my brothers and sisters that are athletes that like, I don't know if I can be Martin Luther King, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because, you know, a lot of people aren't great public speakers. But I could give back to my people in this way. So I just believe in with these black athletes using that platform, I think they're going to be black coaches coaching at HBCUs. I
Yeah.
believe you're going to see former NBA players. I would love to see former MLB players, you know, get into it because I think that's another sport that, you know, if anybody needs a shot in the arm, it's that one.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't, you know, I know it's a different sport. A lot of people don't know the Dodgers manager, Dave Roberts, is African American.
I mean, you know, the best players, you know.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? But that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
Yeah.
we got some steps back, but we also got some good things going on.
Yeah.
Let's continue to push that forward. Brothers, sisters, y'all doing great, but allow athletes to use their gift. You know what I'm saying? If their gift is coaching and sports, let them use that gift.
Yeah.
I think I'm very excited about Eddie George. I love Eddie George, if y'all don't know.
I'm on the split end of that. You know, Eddie George gave me a lot of battles. Love, respect for him. You know what I'm saying? Love, respect. One
Shout
of the
out
best
Ray
ones.
Lewis, and I would love to see Ray Lewis. I know that's another guy.
Yeah.
I would love. I know he's do a lot of other stuff too. But if Ray Lewis got into coaching, let's say he coached FAMU, you know what I'm saying? Being from Florida, I could see him doing something like that. Oh my God, could you imagine Ray Lewis?
Who would not want to play for him? Who would not want to play for him, bro?
And could you imagine
Who would not want to play for that guy, bro?
the MEAC and SWAC having all man? ESPN got no choice but to put those guys on.
Right.
So y'all don't understand how that's going to help those schools, those dorms, those
Yeah.
education, all of that stuff.
It does help from a lot of aspects as far as, you know, exposure, like you said, education, and just literally saving and putting a new face on. Like, hey, don't keep neglecting us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm important here too.
And I love it. I think that's really that's impact. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, we look at it as a great retweet, a great repost. But tell y'all, 10, 15 years, Tennessee State gonna be a better school because of Eddie George. In 10, 15 years, Jackson State gonna be a better school because Deion Sanders. And whoever follows behind them, keep that, because Tennessee always gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia always gonna be good. Alabama, Florida State, Ohio State, Michigan, they always straight.
Yeah.
But a lot of our schools are struggling. And the way we can save them, unfortunately, we got to use athletics. Could you imagine if let me think of somebody. Who's a great all-timer basketball player that's retired? Gosh, I wish Kobe was still here to do something like that. But could you imagine if...
I mean, even the Penny Hardaway move.
Right.
That, like, as far as, like, helping out Memphis, like, you know, what he did for James Wiseman as far as, like, you know, get him, you know, he's probably going to be there regardless. But literally, that does help. You know what I'm saying? Having Penny Hardman kind of vouch for you. But we've seen examples of that.
Well, Wiseman was going to go to Knoxville.
Yeah, just decided, hey, I'm gonna ride out my guy Penny.
But see, and then you see that impact. So could you imagine if a Penny Hardaway type player, I don't know whoever would have that impact, went to Tennessee State and got the James Wiseman, so got those guys and did that. That'd be great.
Yeah, even like what's Juwan Howard, Michigan. You know that impact. You know.
I love that.
So I'm always here for that too, bro. I'm always here for that, man. Well, Oracle Thoughts, episode 6. My boy Malcolm, appreciate you pulling up, man.
Anytime, man. Anytime. I'm right up the street, so I can be here anytime.
Hey, man. Well, appreciate y'all. Check in, tune in. Let me know how you feel. Comments. Hey, I'm always here for your feedback, man. Again, episode 6. Y'all be blessed.